All right, so this starts our last two examples of lesson 8.4. Now what I would encourage you to do is to try and do these two examples on your own and then come back and see how you did as I work through them. So if you want to, go ahead and pause the video now and then we'll see how you did. All right, so first thing you need to do is make sure that you draw the picture correctly. So I have two buildings that are 30 feet apart. Angle of elevation from the top of the first building to the top of the second building is 19 degrees. So we're going to draw the ground. And now we need to draw our two buildings. Now, the first building is going to be smaller than the second building because the angle of elevation from the top of the first to the top of the second indicates we're looking up at the second. So we'll take our two buildings here. We'll take one. Draw it here. Second building up to here. And now we're going to draw our line of sight, which will go to here. We'll set up our right triangle here, and then the other dimensions that we need. So this tells us we have 19 degrees in here at the angle of elevation. Now what that also means is the angle of depression is going to be the same thing. So if we drew this line going across here, that would be our horizontal. This right here would be the angle of depression, which means that's also going to be 19 degrees. So what is the difference? The first one, what is the angle of depression? That answer is going to be 19. What is the difference in their heights? Well, how much taller is this building than this? Well, this is this distance here, x. So one other dimension we know is that the buildings are 30 feet apart, which means that this dimension down here is going to be 30 feet. So we're going to look at what trig functions we have. We do not have the hypotenuse, so we're going to use the tangent function. Tangent of 30 feet, and we don't need the feet. We'll go ahead and take that off. 30 is equal to, and there I go making a mistake again. Tangent of 19 degrees is equal to the x over 30, opposite over adjacent. Put it over 1 and cross multiply. So 1 times x is x, and then we get 30 tangent 19. All right, so we're going to take our calculator and we're going to plug it in. 30 tangent of 19 degrees. That gives us 10.3. So to the nearest tenth of a foot, that means that x is going to be approximately 10.3 feet. So the difference in the two buildings is 10.3 feet. So make sure you're able to draw this picture correctly. Ignore these two boxes here and here, and you should have gotten 10.3 feet. All right, so let's go look at the next one. A rescue worker is located 175 feet above the ground in a lighthouse. He spots a ship on the water at an angle of 62 degrees. He also spots another ship on the water at an angle of 37 degrees, trailing the first ship. How far apart are the ships? So pause the video, try this one yourself, and come back to see how you did. Okay, so here's the basic setup. We have the lighthouse. Now the distance of the lighthouse is how tall it is 175 feet. Now the two ships here we got to boat 1 and boat 2. So if I draw a line here to each one, this is going to be our line of sight to boat 1. We have our line of sight to boat 2. So now let's take a look here and let's look at our angle of depression because we're looking down on something. So the first thing we need to do is put in our horizontal. So if I draw this here, we have our horizontal. And now we need to look at the angles of depression. So the first one has an angle of depression of 62 degrees. So that means he looks out from here and it goes all the way to this line here, and that's 62 degrees. And the second angle of depression is going to go from horizontal down to the line of sight for boat 2, and that is going to be 37 degrees. Now remember, we can flip this and make this an angle of elevation problem by just using our alternate tier angles, which means this would be 62 degrees and this would be 37 degrees. Now, the question they tell us is they're asking to find us how far are these two ships. So what is the distance from here to here? We'll call that x. Now, this distance right here for boat 1, this is the distance, how far the distance is from the boat to the base of the lighthouse. So we're going to call this our y distance. Now, if you look at boat 2, if you look at this triangle here, if we were going to find this distance here, this we'll call distance w. Distance w goes from here all the way down to right here. So we have two distances. Now to find x, the distance they are apart, we are going to take our larger distance, which is w, minus the smaller distance of y, the distance of the two ships from the base of the lighthouse. The difference of those will get us the value of x. So we have this distance here, 175 feet. We have an angle here. We're looking for this distance, which means we're going to use one of our trig functions. So to find, we'll start with w since it's the largest. We have a 37-degree reference angle. This is the opposite. This w would be the adjacent, which means we're going to be using tangent. So tangent of 37 degrees is equal to 175 over the adjacent leg, which is w. Cross multiply, and we get w times the tangent of 37 equal to 1 times 175, which is 175. Then we'll divide by the tangent of 37, and w will equal 175 divided by the tangent 37. So if we pull this up here, we take 175 divided by tangent 37. That's going to give us 232.2. And because we are looking to see how far these are apart, we're going to go ahead and round to the nearest whole number. So 232 feet. So w is about 232 feet. Now we're going to do the same thing to find y. So we're going to take the tangent now of 62 equals 175 over y. Everything will be the same, cross multiply. And this time, as you notice here, it's going to be w is going to was equal to 175 divided by the tangent 37. Well, y is going to equal 175 divided by the tangent of 62. So we can just apply that, what we did there, to what we're doing here. And now we'll take our calculator and get 175 divided by the tangent of 62. That gives us 93.0, which is going to be approximately 93 feet. So now to find the distance between the two ships, which is our x distance, we're going to take our 232 minus the 93, and that is going to give us an approximate answer of about 139 feet apart. All right, so that concludes lesson 8.4. Make sure if you missed anything, go back and rewatch parts 1, 2, or 3, and then start on your homework.